Hey everyone, in today's video, I want to show you how to run YouTube ads and the entire setup of a YouTube ad campaign. Now, the biggest confusion I've seen is YouTube does not have its own ad platform. It's run through the Google ad platform because Google owns YouTube. So the same way you go about setting up an ad for AdWords or Google Ads for google.com is the same way you set up the YouTube ad, except there is some settings that you really need to know about to do this correctly and do it for video. So I want to show you that. I want to make this as quick as possible to kind of show you how to get started running your first ad. But I'll walk you very clearly step by step on what you have to do. I'll show you all the websites that you need to check. And in the description section, I'll put a lot more resources. So I'm creating more videos around this, and I'll put a nice playlist together for you, and anything else we talked about that requires a different website, I'll mention it and link it in the description. Let's jump in here for the first time and set up our YouTube ad. So to get started with YouTube ads, we need to go to youtube.com/ads. And this is going to kind of give you some other resources too that you could check out and get a better understanding for it. But ultimately, YouTube ads will help you reach potential customers and help you with your business. You could even use it to grow a YouTube channel and get more views for your videos. But you could learn more about it here and how it works. But I'll walk you through it as we go through this video. I'll press start now. And it's going to tell you Google ads and YouTube ads are the same thing. It's the same place. It's just the settings that's going to be different when you're going to google.com or youtube.com with a video ad. So that's what this is telling you. So I'll press get started. Now, the next page is going to ask you to sign up to your Google account and set up a Google Ads account if you don't have one. So if you never ran an ad on Google, you don't have one. So you have to go through the creation process. I covered that in a different video, so I won't cover it here. But once you sign up, you come to this page. Now, before we set up a campaign and I'll walk you through how to actually create the ad, let me show you a couple of things that you definitely need. The very first thing you need before you run the actual ad and create the ad is you need a video. And to create a video, one of my favorite places is this website, and I'll have an affiliate link in the description below to it, where you could create videos from templates. So you could go ahead and search for different products and different categories, and you could see these templates that are very easily editable, and then they will get you a very high quality video. Now, I run a video production company, so this is what I do for clients. But a typical video from scratch starts from $5,000 and goes up from there. For bigger brands and even small businesses tend to spend a few $1,000s to get started. But if you don't have a big budget, this is a really great place to start. And the reason why I mentioned this website over other websites is because it has a flat rate monthly pricing where you sign up and you could download as much as you want and experiment with different ads. I will have an entirely different video that I'll put in the description below this video to show you exactly how to create your first ad. Now, after you do that, the second step is you need to create a YouTube channel if you don't have one already, just to host a video. Go to youtube.com and create a channel for yourself. Again, I have different videos on how to do that, but it's pretty straightforward. You go to youtube.com, sign in over here, create a channel. And when you create a channel, you get an option here to upload the video. So step one was creating our video. Now step two is we're going to upload that video right here and go through the upload process over here. So follow the steps in that order. Create your actual video ad, and then you could go ahead and put it on YouTube as your second step. Now, let's go back to our ad campaign here, and we want to create a new campaign. So now this is actually setting up the ad. So I'll press new campaign, and you could see there are a lot of different things you could do for your campaign. You could help it drive sales to an online store or even by phone. You could have it give you leads that you could convert to customers. For example, if you have a service business, you could just get traffic to your website so people will click, come to your website and learn more. That will help you if you're selling anything. And you could just do this for product and brand recognition, brand awareness. You could help people install and interact with apps, or you could create your own and then follow the more customized options below. Now, depending on which one you choose, the rest of your options will be different. So just to show you, I'm going to click this one because this is going to give me all the different options. If you select different ones, you could see it really limits the number of options you have. If I select this one, I could get my campaign types. So I want to show you that here. But in almost every case here, you want to choose video because in the case of this video, we're talking about creating an ad for YouTube. Now, search is google.com. Display is also related to Google Display Network. This will also show on youtube.com as text. But right now, just to keep it simple, let's choose video. Now, the subtype is very important because now you could decide what kind of ad campaign you want to run. The first one is very common because it lets you have skippable in-stream ads and bumper ads or video discovery ads. So skippable in-stream ads, let me just show you one over here that I paused. Now here's an example of that skippable ad. So it plays for 5 seconds and then the skip ad option comes up for people to click it. And unless someone watches 30 seconds of it or clicks this, the person running this ad, which is Bluehost in this case, does not get charged. So they have to watch at least 30 seconds or click the link for that person to get charged. So that's what's going to happen to you when you're running the ad. People are going to be able to watch it, skip it, or click the link to go see more, depending on what your call to action is going to be. And then there is these type of ads, which are just these display discovery ads, which will show up right on top of search. So I just searched Apple here on YouTube, and this showed up right on top over here as an ad. You could see it says ad right here. So that's kind of what we got to decide. And there are also non-skippable in-stream ads too. Those will play in the beginning or the middle of the video and they won't be skippable. It will be 15 seconds that somebody has to sit through. And some other ones here you could read about. Just to keep this simple, we'll choose the first one. It's by far the most common one that people will choose. I'll press continue. Now, the next thing I want to do is a campaign name. So here I could go ahead and type in my campaign name. For bidding strategy, basically how these ads work is you're bidding against other people, and if you have the highest bid, your ad will show up number one or before their ad shows up. And ultimately, there are many different versions of this. There's 4 different types you could choose from. But just to keep this simple, let's go with maximum here. And with maximum cost per view, you're deciding how much you're willing to pay as your maximum bid. We'll talk about this in a second because we could actually set this number, the exact amount of dollars or cents we're willing to pay per view or per click. Then budget and date. So here you could choose a campaign total. How much do you want to spend for this whole ad campaign? Or I will usually set a daily budget. And right now you could edit your start date and your end date too. So I'll just go ahead and do that. I'll run this for 5 days or so. So that's your budget and date. Again, make sure you set this up properly because if you set your daily to 500, it's going to charge you 500 and there's nothing you could do to get a refund. Network, let's click this. You could do this for YouTube search results, YouTube videos, and partner networks. I usually leave this on exactly as is. Next, you could select your location. You could do specific locations here or just your country. I'll just use my country here. Language, I'll type in the language here because the video is going to be in English, so it's not going to help me if other people watch it. And down here, content exclusion, I could select this. And this is, again, one of the more complex options that help you get a little bit more eyeballs on this. So you could do expanded inventory for that. The problem with this is it's going to show on videos with excessive profanity or possible nudity. So I usually stick with the standard one. And that's almost the case for the majority of the ads that I would run on YouTube. Now that was your campaign. So that's kind of helped you with your budget and some of your targeting such as language and location. But now we're getting into our ad group. So let's talk about ad group. Now with the ad group, you're going to get very targeted on who is going to see this ad. So I'm going to skip the name here because I'm going to name it based on some of these choices that I'll make. But right now, the first option, I could choose gender, age, if someone's a parent, even income, all that is selectable here. And you have your audience, which is basically the most powerful part of YouTube ads or really any ad network that you're going to use to run ads. So for my age group, I'm going to actually take off unknown and I'll take off the older crowd here and the younger crowd. Now for audience, you could search or you could try to use these categories here. You could also browse here. So who they are, you could select that and you could see more and get very, very specific. One of the most useful ones is this affinity here. You could select that and choose people based on the type of categories. So here, I'm running an ad for tech, so I'll select technology here. I could expand it a little more and I could see some other categories. So if I wanted to narrow it down even more, I could go ahead and do that. Now, all the time you should look on this side, this right side. It says the number of impressions that this could get based on the campaign settings. So the type of people that you're targeting. So if you select more, this will actually increase because now you're targeting more people. But I'll go ahead and stick with technology here. And this video is gonna be on Mac computer. So I'm gonna look up Mac computer here and I could refine my selections further. So do a little bit of research here to get an understanding of what you want to target, but we have more options. So let's go to content. Now you could actually target by keywords. So let me go ahead and do that. And based on typing keywords, so I chose 3 different keywords that I know are related to my video, and it really dropped my impressions way down. So that's really what I want. I don't want to be targeting 1 billion people for impressions. I want this to be much, much lower. So I would choose the keyboard option if that's related to what you're talking about. And then you also have topics again that you could choose. Again, I'll choose computers here. And now I'm getting to the right amount, 3 million now, because of my very specific targeting. And placement is gonna let you go exactly where you want with this. So right now, if you wanna just target YouTube videos, you could actually place it on YouTube videos specifically. You could type in exact YouTube channels even and target those channels. So let me try that here. So I could just run this ad on my YouTube channel, on one of my other YouTube channels. But this is what happens. My impressions are now only 60K. That is not what I want. So I'm not gonna do that in this case. I wanna actually find a new audience. But you get the idea here. You have a lot of different options to choose from as far as targeting on different videos or different channels. You would just type in the search, the URL here, or the video ID, which you could find on any YouTube video in the URL on top of that video. But usually I just put the URL of that specific video and it will try to run my ad on that. So I'll skip placement here. So I really focused on keywords and topics, and on top my audience was selected too. So that gets me over to my bidding. Now this is probably the most confusing part of running a YouTube ad because it really tells you how much do you want to pay for one view. What's the maximum cost per view that you were willing to pay? And you have to basically put a bid here based on what you're willing to pay so you could outbid other people. It's showing me here that basically if I think something is worth 25 cents for someone to watch the video, then I will put 25 cents, which seems really high for me. So in my case, I'm just gonna put 5 cents per view. So you have to decide this for your own and how much a view is worth to you based on the service or product you're selling, or if you're just trying to get views. Otherwise, just press learn more and read all about it. Finally, create your video ad. That was our very first step. We had to make an ad and we had to upload it to YouTube. So it's going to ask you to give the URL of that video over here. So let me go to my YouTube channel over here and find that video. This is the video. Usually when you click on the video link will show up over here. So I'm gonna copy this and then I'll go back to my campaign over here and I'll go ahead and right click here and paste it. Now you have a couple of options that are very important here. Do you want this to run as a skippable in-stream ad? Remember the type of ads that I show you where someone could skip and it plays before videos? Or do you want to run it as a display ad, which is the type that shows up in search? In my case, I want to run this as a video discovery ad because when people run that keyword, I want this video to show up #1 just like this. You see that? The headline will be here. And I'm just doing this for this video and in order to get more views on this video, just to show you how this whole process works. But typically you would do this to sell a product or a service and not just to get video views. Then you have an option for your thumbnail, which it will try to choose it from your video. But I already added a thumbnail to my video. Again, I have different resources on how to do that. I could look at it on mobile and desktop here to see what that looks like on different devices. And then I could type in my headline. So my headline in this case is just gonna be the title of the video. And you have very few characters here, only 35 for description, for example. So you would have to choose these wisely and not run out. And then you could give your ad a name. Now, if you choose skippable in-stream ad, you're going to have some other options here. including a website URL. So this is the destination you want to send people. So if you're promoting a website, a product, a service, this is where that URL would go over here. And when you type it in, you could actually change the display URL to be something else. Especially if this is really long, you want to make this a little bit shorter for the display, which is what will show up on your ad. So if I go to desktop view here, you can see the display URL is right here. And if it's very long, you're going to want to change it over here under display. You could also add a call to action, and the call to action will make it look like this, which is a lot more preferable compared to what I just showed you. So I would have a call to action like this here, and it will look like this so people could click it. Makes it a lot easier on both mobile view over here and on desktop view. And then the rest is pretty much the same, where you could upload an image. You could use Photoshop or Canva. I have different videos on how to use those, or you could auto-generate it from your channel banner, which is just recommended here. Again, it's picking it from your YouTube channel where that video came from, and then you would add a headline over here. Okay, I filled all that out. Now, the only thing I forgot to do here, which I was going to do after all my selections, was name my ad group. So you have campaign first, ad group second, which is your targeting, and then the third is the actual ad, which is the video. So it's those three things. They all have different names for them. Now let's go all the way down, and you can see based on my budget of $5 a day at 5 cents per view maximum, I'm going to get somewhere between 650 to 1900 views out of this many impressions. And it's gonna try to use all my budget here of $5. So I'm gonna press create campaign. I could review it one more time here of all the selections that I've had. Now I skipped some of the more advanced stuff like campaign goals and using conversions. I'll focus on those in more advanced training. Now I'm gonna press continue here. Now, anytime I could come over here and go to ads, and I could add another ad by just pressing the plus sign, and it will create another ad for me with the same ad groups that I've created, those same exact targeting. I would just mix up my ad. Maybe I'll try a different video for the same ad group. You select your ad group, then inside of each ad group, I usually recommend running 2 or 3 different types of ads to see what converts. Again, depending on if you're using these templates, if you hired a production company to record your ad, or maybe you're just talking directly to camera, all those could work, but it's really good to test them against each other to see which one is gonna get you the better results. So that's what you could do on this page under ads by pressing plus. And if you decided to just try a whole different campaign, you could just go back to overview and set up an entirely new campaign as well. And when you start running ads, this is a brand new account, so I don't have any to show you, but you could go to reports, and then you could get a report of how your ad is doing after a little while. Now I created a few more ads. So again, right here, I clicked ads, and now I have 3 different ones instead of the one I showed you how to create, because I wanted to show you the status option here. And status basically means they are going to review your ad. Google and YouTube will review your ad here, and it will show up as approved if it gets approved, as disapproved if it gets disapproved, or a lot of times it will show pending approval here right after you click it. So it may take up to 24 hours and even longer in some cases. In my case, it took about 30 minutes only for these to get approved. And this one got approved, but it has a trademark issue because I used a Netflix logo here in the ad. But I wanted to show you what that would look like, so I ran multiple different ads here. So make sure you give it a little bit of time before you could actually check the results of your ad. And one last thing I should show you, you could actually link, if you used your video from your own YouTube channel, the YouTube channel to this account. That will give you a little bit of better insight. So let me show you how to do that. You just have to go to settings over here and go to linked account. And make sure you scroll down over here and link a YouTube account. Click that, and you actually have to either own the channel or someone has to grant you permission from the channel itself. So this part is done through YouTube if someone else is giving you access. But you could go ahead and add channel and then type in the channel URL here from YouTube to link the two. So that's beneficial if you're going to do this more than once. And that's all it takes to run ads on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful and you could be successful with your YouTube ad campaign. Make sure you look at the description below this video to check out all the resources we talked about and learn a little bit more about running YouTube ads. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.